Welcome to the experience, and thank you for watching this video. So today I want to talk about probably something you would not expect to be an actual video, but I think it's an interesting thought, and I'm genuinely interested in asking this question and hopefully getting some insights on what other people think about this. So the topic today is paying for an online dating app. I don't know, it just occurred to me. So I've used dating apps, right? And I've met, lots of qualities of people. Um, so I needed to ponder on that. But yeah, so I've met people through these online dating apps, and so I'm quite familiar with some of them, the ones that I've used anyway, right? And I've never really thought about this, but it just occurred to me randomly the other day that what is really the benefit of paying for an app? So that's what I want to look at today. Paying for an app, looking at what it actually means. In other words, what are you getting for paying the app, and maybe looking at some of those benefits in terms of how effective they are, or even necessary for that matter. But I mean, there's no right or wrong. I think most importantly, I'm just exploring this question because it really got me thinking about, looking at what people pay for when they pay for these apps, and what are you getting, and is it something that is actually you need or not? And maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but that's what I'll be looking at today. So what is an online dating app? It is an app that allows people to build connections, whether it's for a purpose of casually engaging in certain activities or whether it's just to go on a few casual dates, meet new people, get yourself ready for the real thing by learning how to connect with people, how to relate to people. People use it for different reasons, but basically it's an application that allows people to meet online and, yeah, just build connections of whatever form. That's basically what an app is, online dating app is. Those who might not know, again, this is from my experience, what actually happens when you use a dating app. So you basically take your phone. Well, you can use your computer as well. It's just, for me, it's a bit weird to be on the computer, on Tinder or Bumble or whichever app I may be using. But you certainly can. There's nothing that stops you from doing that. So yeah, you take your phone or your PC and you download the app that you've identified you want to try out, and we set up a profile. So your profile would be basically from you putting up pictures, preferably of yourself, that you feel sell you as a potential spouse, as a potential friend, whatever it is that you're looking for on the app. So you put up those pictures, you give a brief description about yourself. You go crazy. This is where you go crazy, because you say whatever it is that you want people to know about you, or the thing that you feel stands out about you. And then, yeah, you would also describe certain things like your height, your age, where you're from, what you've studied, where you work. Not recommended, by the way. Maybe that should be a separate video, which is certain things that you probably shouldn't include in a online dating profile, because unfortunately not everyone on the app will be looking for love or friendship or casual sexual activities, but some people are actually there as predators, and you will find yourself being in danger if you give out certain information about yourself. But anyway, maybe a separate video. But yeah, so you would then set up your profile about yourself, just a snapshot of who you are, what you are about. You could also mention some of the activities you do, so hobbies and things you enjoy, things you don't enjoy. There's just various ways in which you can present yourself, and that's what I love about how smart these apps have become. Sometimes they let you pick certain like short questions that you complete, that where you're answering the question about yourself. And I think that's a cool way to just give a person a snapshot of how you think, or what you do, and that sort of thing, everything about you that you want them to know. So that's essentially what happens when you download an app, an online dating app. You set all of that up and give out as much information as you wish to, and then you hope that you will match with people that you want to match with, and then you'll start chatting. I should probably explain further to say that, so once you've set up your profile, other people have also set up their own profiles. So if I swipe right on the person that I like and I feel is a match for me, whether it's in terms of how they look or what they've said about themselves, they'll also do the same. They'll swipe right on me if they feel the same way about me, and then that causes a match, and that match is what then triggers an opportunity. I'm not going to say that's when you start chatting, because you don't have to. Sometimes you accidentally swipe right and the other person happened to swipe right, and then now you're matching, so you don't have to talk, obviously, because you wouldn't have chosen the person if not for the mistake, right? So that's why I'm deliberately saying you swipe right on a person, they swipe right on you. That causes a match and causes an opportunity for you two to start talking, should you want to actually have an actual conversation, which is what I imagine you would want to do if you've indicated that you like someone. So yeah, that is what happens. You match, conversation potentially starts, and that's when you start talking. And if it's going well, that's when you start exchanging numbers, maybe to then start having phone calls and or chatting on WhatsApp. However, I must say that some of the dating apps I've recognized actually have started being smarter, and I appreciate this personally. They allow you to have chats, like an actual call on the app, or even a video call in the app. And I think that's great, because if I don't have to give my number to potential creeps, I'd rather not, hey? I'd rather not. I'd rather keep the conversation into the app until I'm comfortable that, first of all, I am talking to the right person, and two, this is someone I've built trust with. So, but yeah, that's essentially what then happens once you've matched with your person. You can start talking. So now that you are an expert when it comes to dating apps, thanks to my explanation, let's look at actually what you pay for when you pay for an app, an online dating app. I'm actually going to use two examples because there are so many online dating apps, I couldn't possibly explore all of them. And I obviously also haven't used all of them. So I'll just stick to two as an example, because I believe in any case, from what I've seen, that most of them generally offer the same thing. So you're basically paying for the same thing, just on a different app. So I don't think it matters that I'm only going to use two examples. So I'll start with Tinder. So with Tinder, some of the things that you pay for is being able to see who likes you. And I think that's interesting because, let's think about it. So if 10 people have liked me, I can see the benefits in that. It's good to know that, okay, so-and-so who's got this profile and looks like this liked me, and so on and so forth, for all 10 people. Then you know that, okay, from this list of 10 people, maybe I like 2 of them, maybe I like 3 of them, or maybe actually I like 10 of them. So in other words, all of them. I suppose that's a benefit that could be useful, because then you're just swiping right. But the thing is with it, as much as I agree it is a benefit to know who's liked you, but my question would be, does it matter? Because at the end of the day, if you don't like them, then you're not going to swipe right on them, regardless of the fact that you now know that this is who likes me. So a part of me feels like maybe there's an element of I don't know, glorification in that benefit, because it's, I don't know, is it just the joy of knowing that, oh, 20 people, 50 people, 100 people like me, and this is who they are. But actually, no, I don't like them back. In which case, what's the point of knowing who likes you? Because for me, but then this is based on me. My thing is, I'm interested in who I like because I can't control whether they like me as well. And whether they like me, if I don't like them, then it means nothing, right? Nothing's gonna happen. So that's why for me the focus should rather, and has always been, on who I like and just letting it be, rather than obsessing about who likes me back. I'll know who likes me back by getting a match if I've liked them first, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, something to think about, and I'm very, I'll think about it a bit more. Maybe I'll think of it differently. But as it stands right now, I don't know why that would be something I want to pay for. I do admit there's definitely a benefit there, and it's nice probably to note, again, to be glorified or validated that so many people like me and this is who they are. But is it something to pay for? I don't know. For me, it's not good enough, but I don't know. Then another thing that you might pay for on Tinder is having unlimited likes. So, in other words, I know that you can only swipe right on people you like up to a certain number or to a certain point a day. I'm not sure. I've never had the desperation of sitting on my phone the whole day and swiping right throughout the day. So I really don't know what the limit is. I couldn't possibly tell you, but I do know that it does have that feature. Maybe I have been desperate. Hey, I don't know, because I mean, how else would I have seen the feature that I had swiped too much? But so essentially, what this feature allows you, or this benefit allows you, is to not have a limit. So if it's 100 right swipes, so in other words, liking people, so you can only like 100 people a day. Then with paying for the what is it, the upgrade, you would not be limited to those 100 people. You could like 1,000 people instead. So that's the benefit, essentially. I hope I'm explaining it right, but yeah, that's the benefit. So let's look at whether it's a viable benefit, whether it makes sense, or actually, it's not about whether it makes sense to me or not. I'm offering my own response to it as a potential buyer of the product. So, does it matter if I can only swipe one right on 100 people today, as opposed to swiping on 1,000? For me, it doesn't change much. It's not life changing. It really isn't life changing. I'm not willing to part money with that, to part ways with money. Sorry, for that benefit, because again, it's whoever likes me back on that day, and maybe then they might not even like me back on that particular day. That's the other thing. A person might only use Tinder. A person who's gonna like me back might only use Tinder 3 days after, a week after, which means we'll only match then. So it doesn't matter that I could have, like, it for me, it's not life changing. It's not worth it. But I can see why it would appeal to other people. Yeah, I mean, you've got time to kill. You've got time to kill, and you can spend the whole day swiping right and not having the frustration of being blocked because you've reached your limit. Sure, I get it. I get it. I wouldn't do it, but I get it. Another benefit, or what comes with the upgrade, is being able to boost your profile. I guess I get the appeal with that, because what it essentially means is that it happens in different ways from what I can tell, but one of the ways in which you can boost your profile is that it comes up as one of the top profiles, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So it's almost like you're paying. It's almost, yes, it's like when you pay for an ad on a newspaper, and yeah, so you get to have exposure than any other business that would not be on the ad, for those who read that newspaper. It's basically the kind of the same thing. So you're boosting your profile because then it comes up on top, and you're more likely to get more views. So in other words, more people will see you, which increases your chances of getting a match and hopefully the love of your life. So it makes sense. It makes total sense. Everyone wants to be sellable. Well, actually, selling yourself doesn't mean that you're sellable, but everyone wants to come out on top and wants to be visible, wants to increase their chances of winning or of being seen, being chosen. So it makes sense. I can see why they would sell that as part of the upgrade. As for whether it's, I don't know, I'm sold on that. Again, I don't think so. I don't think so, because yes, I can be one of the first profiles you see when you open Tinder because I've paid for you to see me first before everyone else. If you don't like me, whose life is it going to change? The fact that you saw me first before you saw anyone else. It's not going to change my life, certainly not yours. So why am I paying for you to see me first? So I think that's my final answer on that. I don't think I'm willing to pay to actually jump the queue. Yes, that's what it is. I'm not willing to pay to jump the queue. It's okay if you see me as the 100th person on your list of people that you're swiping on. It's okay. It really is okay. But yeah, as a benefit that they are selling and that clearly works because people are buying it, I get it. It makes sense. It makes sense. So let's move on to the second app that I said I would compare, which is Bumble. I like Bumble, and I've used it. So when it comes to Bumble, some of the benefits of going premium, so paying for the upgrade service, is that you get to go in travel mode, which allows you to connect with people in other regions or parts of the world that you would not ordinarily match with or meet up with because you are not there. So I'm in South Africa. I'm unlikely to bump into someone in the UK. So this feature then allows me to virtually travel to the UK so that I can connect with people who are there. So it basically kind of cuts the distance, and it treats you guys as if you are both on the same location, whereas I am thousands of miles away from the UK right now. So I'll say that that benefit is attractive. It makes sense because you actually might be interested in connecting, even if it's just for building relationships or friendships, with people who are from other parts of the world, so that you can expand your knowledge on other cultures, or sometimes it really is just a curiosity thing. And I think that's definitely a good way to get exposure, because you might not be able to fly to the UK, for example. Whereas now with this benefit, and changing your location to the UK, you're able to connect with people who are far away from you. So it makes sense. I totally get that. But then my question would be, I don't know. I guess for me, I would ask myself, what am I looking for in looking for someone who's thousands of miles away from me? If it's a potential relationships, do I even do long distance relationships? Because if the answer is no, then it makes it pointless for me to try and meet people who are far away from me, because I know for a fact that long distance relationships don't work for me, or I don't want them. So then why would I put myself in that position when clearly nothing good is going to come out of that? But on the other hand, or by the same token, if you are someone who's willing to do a long distance thing, or that's what you're particularly looking for, then it makes sense, right? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. If you switch your region to a certain place, you're going to connect with people from there. So it makes sense to open that up for yourself, that possibility for yourself. So I get it, and it's attractive. Yeah, it would depend if that's what I was looking for at that time, in order for me to find it worthy to pay for. But if I wasn't looking for that, then I wouldn't pay for it. But it makes sense. I get it as a benefit to upgrade. So what essentially happens with Bumble is that you will match with the person. So if it's a woman and a man, I believe it's the woman who gets to make the first move. So in other words, gets to send the first message so that the chat can happen between the two of them. But if it's two women, I think it's the last one who caused the match. So if I swiped right yesterday and then you swipe right on me tomorrow, then you are the last person to cause the match, right? Because with you liking me back, you're confirming that we like each other and that's how a match is caused. So then you would have the opportunity to text me. Or actually, it might be the other way around. I'll put a correction once I've edited the video, once I've actually confirmed that. But I think it actually might be the other way around, that it's the person who liked first who might then get to text first when it's two people of the same sex. But yeah, I'll confirm that and put a correction. But anyway, so then what happens though is that a person is given 24 hours to send that first message, whoever it is, right? So now with the premium benefit, which is what you pay for the package, for the upgrade package, is that there is no limitation to the time that's given to the person to text you. Or actually, if there is, the time still stands, which is, by the way, 24 hours. The person has 24 hours to text you. If that does expire, if you are on the package, you are able to rematch you guys. Whereas if you're not on the package, you lose that match if the person who was supposed to text first does not text. So is that a benefit I'm willing to pay for? I mean, the thing is, I don't know how crucial it is for me, because here's the thing. I'm not going to know if the people I match with are actually worth it to that extent that I need to pay to rematch with them should we not text within the time that's allocated to us. Maybe actually it was just a match, but it wasn't like something that I was so sure is what I'm looking for, I would die for, and therefore would pay for. In which case then, I don't know. It's hard to justify whether I'd pay for that. I mean, it makes sense as a benefit because I get it as a benefit, because you might actually have been desperate to match with that person, and you did match, thankfully. And now, maybe they are the ones who were supposed to make the first move, and they didn't make the first move, and you don't. But there's something to consider there. You don't know why they didn't make the first move. Maybe they just haven't been active on the app, and so they didn't see that you guys matched, and they needed to send a message within 24 hours. Or maybe that's your answer. There is nothing more to talk about there or to explore there. In which case, you should let it go and not have to pay to reactivate that match. Something to think about. So, interesting benefit. One of the benefits that actually seems to be common on most of the apps that I've used that you pay for is that if you accidentally swiped left on the person you actually do like, in other words, you wanted to swipe right on, you can rewind. Yeah, some of them call it a backtrack. Some of them call it a rewind, literally rewind. You're able to literally scroll back and say, hey, I clicked on you by mistake. I swiped left by mistake. So then you swipe right to correct that. But again, is it worth paying for, considering the fact that yes, it was a mistake on your part to swipe left on them, but was it a mistake on their part? Maybe not. Maybe they were never going to swipe right on you which means you would never have matched anyway, regardless of whether you had gotten it right the first time around or not. So, yeah, are you willing to part ways to take that chance? Maybe you are. Am I? No. I feel like it's very clear from my responses so far that there's not much I'm willing to pay for when it comes to these things. Not that I need to justify this, but I do feel that I want to say this. It's not so much about the money. The money aspect of it is not bad. I mean, for some of them, you pay, they usually have discounts, by the way. They have those time periods where they will say, here's a limited offer. You have 4 hours to take up this offer, or here's a weekend special. So you can also benefit from paying like lower prices during those times. So it's not a money issue. That's a concern for me. But for me, it's a consideration of to what extent is the process of paying for these services allowing things to unfold the way they should, right? Because it feels like there's an element of trying to manipulate the situation, and I don't see that ending well for anyone in the situation when you have successfully manipulated the situation and then it just turns out to be a huge disappointment. But on the other hand, how do you know that it might end as a disappointment if you don't try? So, and that's why I was very clear in the beginning that yes, I keep saying this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, and all of that, but it's not so much about that at the end of the day. What it is about is that you are true to yourself in terms of how far you're willing to take the chances that we all take when it comes to this love thing. You know, we all have our limits, or lack thereof. And you just have to really do what resonates with you, what is true to you, what makes sense to you, and sometimes, you know, by doing all these things some of which might look crazy or unnecessary to me, you might feel the need to do them because something in you is telling you that this will lead you to the person that you're looking for. And you might actually find that person, you know. So imagine now you'd listen to me saying no to all of these benefits, and then you miss out on that. See, it's not worth it to, I guess, proceed on this based on what someone else thinks. But I wanted to just look at the benefits and just unpack the benefits, the value they add, or where they might not add value at all. As just a way to think about this, not so much as a way to criticize, but just something to think about, and maybe learn from, because I'm learning a lot from exploring these various benefits. But anyway, that brings me to the end of this video. Thank you so much if you've come to the end of it. Thank you so much for coming this far in watching the video. And I hope you have a thought or two about some of my opinions on this, or your own opinions on this, or even experiences. Maybe you've actually purchased these premium upgrades, and maybe you've had the best experience that you can share, which will help some of us actually be swayed and understand what we may not be considering if we're not really sold on these on some of these benefits. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to engaging with you in the comment section. Goodbye.